Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the September 23rd, 2019 Port Authority Directors Meeting. First order of business is to approve or correct the minutes from the last meeting. Do I have a motion or comments?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve?
A second.
And a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Comments from the public? Don't hear anybody right now. Get somebody later, we'll talk about it. We'll have them express their thoughts and opinions. Mr. Frame, report from the Harbor Master.
All right. The Army Corps of Engineers dredge project appears to be finished now. They brought the dredge back into the harbor and they pulled their hose pipe thing back in. So they're still here, but I think they finished dredging. They placed the 2 full barges of stone and have gone to get some more. I believe the contract called for 4,000 tons and they placed 3,800 tons. So they have about 200 more to go, and they had to go back to get the stone, which some of the stone they're going to move on to St. Joe from here. So they'll stop here, take off 200 ton, and then take the rest of it to St. Joe. Tomorrow there's a update meeting on that, so I'll hear that for sure, but that was the agenda that went out. Last week, Edgewater Resources put the 200 dock bid project or redecking project out for bid, and we had one call today to come down and look at it from Larson Danielson, so they're interested. I expect we'll get a couple others, and that bid is due on October 7th at our board meeting. On the 800 dock project, Edgewater came down with the fella from MEE. That's the company that makes the power boxes we're going to use. And we took a walk down the 800 dock and looked at how the wiring is in the main distribution panels. And the representative from MEE feels confident that the way they're speccing it out will work fine. So Colin hopes to have that all finalized and ready to go here shortly. I would expect by the end of the week he'll have that out for bid. And that's all I have for now, unless anybody has any questions.
Just as on the 800 dock, ESD, after that's completed to the way we want it, I believe we're going to look towards the 700 dock after that. Was that what we were talking about? It's been a while. We've concentrated on the 800 dock here the last 6 months, but I think
we wanted to see how that went first before we moved on to anything else.
Yes, sir. Mr. Johns.
A couple of questions. It's near the end of the landscape care season. Mm-hmm. Now, is the new parking lot landscape under contract to the installer for 1 more year, or is it complete?
1 more.
1 more year.
Yeah, and they're supposed to replace the trees that never leafed out this year.
Okay.
And some of the other plants that didn't make it. But yeah.
And they were down here about a week ago. I had a car down there walking around doing something. Did you have something?
Well, that's it. Thank you.
John?
Yeah, with back on the electrical box on the 800 dock. Now, I think at one of the past meetings we spoke about those boxes. Are they going to be in the way of redecking or?
No, because the 800 dock's concrete.
Right. No, but on the dock we're getting redecked. The 200 dock.
The dock boxes?
No, the electrical boxes.
No.
Was there anything that had to be done to that? No.
No.
Okay.
They'll take the light poles off, but the outlet boxes are fine.
We're going to stay the same for now. Okay.
We'll probably do. I'm guessing, John, we'll probably do on the 200 what we did on the 300,
right.
And then put them back on.
Mm-hmm.
And as we, I guess, upgrade things slowly over the years to be affordable, I imagine we'll replace those. But replacing them, we can just
do that anytime.
Okay. We good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Anything else for Kim? Okay, Mrs. Palicki is not able to stay tonight. She had a prior commitment that we knew about ahead of time, and I believe Mr. Frame is going to take care of that.
Well, the only thing we've had going in the office is we still continue to rent a few slips. I see we don't have a new list for you tonight. And we've also started taking payments for winter storage, and we've been putting boats away at Trail Creek. So everything's going smooth.
Good. Anything from anybody on that? All right, moving forward. Again, Mr. Garrett, budget, financial oversight, review of bills.
All right. Just going to touch on about 6 items on the claim for today. If you go to the third item down, $4,089.12 for B&E Marina, that is supplies that we resell. So
What was that, Aaron?
supplies that we're for resale.
Okay, that's right.
And then 2 down from there is our water bill for $3,820.96. And if you go 6 down from there for $2,031.75, that is Midwest Security Forces for security. 2 down from there, the big one for $77,276 or $76.66 is fuel for resale. And 1 down from there for $2,848.98 is Republic trash removal. And then the very final thing that's at the very bottom under capital improvement is from Edgewater. So if you take those 6 out of the 20, it totals 93,000 of the 99. So the other 14 items are of less significant value. So if there are no questions, I would make a motion that we pay our bills as presented.
Motion to pay our bills?
I second.
We have a second. Any questions? Okay, deal with the new suspension. For the 17.
I'm sure part of it is the ad for the 200 dock, but
Okay.
I don't think that's all of it. I'll have to find out for you.
That's fine. No other questions? No other questions. Moving on, Mr. Haynes, claims insurance.
Oh, I still have
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
and I don't know if we actually voted. Did we? Did we vote on that?
Well,
No.
I guess we didn't take a vote on the bills,
no,
did
we didn't vote. No, we didn't.
I apologize for that. Let's back up. No more questions on the bills. Let's take a vote. All those in favor of accepting the bills as written, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And 1 more. Okay, so the other thing I have is we have a CD that is up for renewal. After looking at the rates, and things are lower than they were the last time we did something like this. The best value that we are getting is from JP Morgan Chase Bank of Columbus, and it is for 2 years at 1.95%, and that would be for $250,000.
So how much?
$250,000. So that is the best one that we have on here based on what's listed. So I would make a motion that we renew this CD for the 2 years at the 1.95%.
Second.
I'm sorry, second? Got a second? Any questions? I presume that your information came from the staff also?
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the new rate for the CDs and Mike, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Anything else?
That is all.
All right. Port operation.
Did we touch claims and insurance?
I'm sorry, John. I didn't see you.
Yeah, it comes next.
Oh, I scratched it out because I called you earlier. Excuse me.
Okay.
Ah,
No, I have no report. I haven't heard of anything. So if anybody has anything,
nope.
let me know.
Okay. I apologize on that.
No problem.
I erased it and then I checked it off. Port operations, myself. Anything new on the bathhouse that we've been talking about sending that out, working for bids or such?
I expect Edgewater will come down yet this week and record the underground utility markings. I believe those are all complete now from the various location services.
All right, so we're still a ways away here. All right. I had one little project that I wanted to bring up that I want to talk about for a second. It's an idea not an idea. It's a project that Tim's going to be able to will take care of. But we've been able to dodge the bullet, I think, over this year on the high water on the 4, 5, and 600 dock. Come through somewhat unscathed, but those docks are kind of low. And I've talked to Tim, talked to Mr. Messina, talked to Mr. Johns, and I've asked Tim to get together with the marine engineers and work on a longer-term plan on what if it keeps coming up the next few years, and what if it starts inundating and getting into the electricity boxes or stuff like that. And we just need to be prepared. Not that we were caught totally off guard this year, but once it started happening, there wasn't a lot that we could be doing about it immediately. So we've got between now and the next season to at least have some good plans in place on roughly how much it might cost and what we might need to do to keep the slips in operation should the water continue to rise. And it's only on the 4, 5, and 6 that are the immediate need. So Tim's got enough money in his budget to do this. It's his own operational. I just want to let the board know that I've told him to please go ahead and work to bring this up. He'll keep us updated between now and the first part of the season. Any questions on that? Any thoughts, Danny?
Did you also have some concern on the gas or fuel docks also? It seemed like the water level there rises up pretty high too.
We'll look at that.
I think that one should be included.
Okay.
I had not specifically. I've been more concerned over here, but you're right. Comments? Any more? Anything else to me? Mr. Messina. Daniel, Board of Communications special events.
There's nothing going on as far as special events. Board of Communications probably quiet down here a lot during the weekend. A few end of season parties going on each dock, but no communication with anybody.
I think we've got about 5 more weeks of the official season. I think we all see that it's been pretty good. Great revenues, no real problems that we haven't been able to at least have a plan to work through. Don't know of anything. So from my standpoint, the staff is to be commended on another good year. Mr. Manor, Master Planning, Special Projects, Park Liaison.
I have nothing to report.
All right, anything from Mr. Manor? Mrs. Meir, Advertising Public Relations.
We took out an ad a little early, a year early, I think it is, for the News Dispatch for $1,750. It's on the claims docket, and that's for the Visitors Bureau, and we save $100 by taking care of it early, and that's all I have.
Thank
I think it's a 2/3 page.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Anything from Mrs. Meir? Yes,
I don't
Bruce?
understand what you mean for the Visitors Bureau. What does that mean?
Well, according to the note I received, let's see, we have made out a claim to the News Dispatches for the LaPorte County Visitors Bureau for next year's brochure. So I guess I should have been more specific.
We have an ad in the visitor's guide.
Oh, it's for the ad in the visitors
Yes.
center?
Mhm.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I should have
thank
been
you.
more specific, but
Thank
that's
you.
what it's for.
Thank you.
Oh, that comes through the news dispatch. I thought that was something else. I thought that came through a different way. Yeah. Sounds good. Any other questions? Zipping right through. Attorney's report, Mr. Zach Noon.
I really don't have anything new. I could comment on some old business if the president wants me to bring it up, and that would involve the issue related to, I believe it was Doc 3 or slip number 307. I did meet with the harbor master on that issue, and it seems to me that the decision as to what to do with that particular slip holder ought to be made by the harbor master. Generally, what this board sits to do is to establish policy for the Port Authority and oversee financial matters, budgeting, and how the Port Authority invests and spends its money. Something with complaints involving a slip holder and what to do in connection with that seems to me to be something that is well within the jurisdiction of the harbor master. And I would recommend that the board defer to the harbor master as to what to do in that situation, and in situations like that may appear down the road in some other season. As the president pointed out, we've only got about 5 weeks of the season left, and so hopefully we don't have any more problems. But I believe that when problems like this do arise, they should be handled by the harbor master.
I'll just make a quick further comment on that. When some of these concerns came up, and at our last meeting, there were several people that talked. Harbor Master had worked through that, and he had asked my thoughts and opinions, and as the president, and Mr. Zaknoon's thoughts and opinions, and these have been going on for the last 2-3 weeks, whatever. So we're just. I believe Mr. Frame is kind of holding off on a final resolution, and when he does, I'm sure he'll let me know. And when a final resolution happens, there's no reason why we won't mention it to the board. But that's really his operational stuff. And I think the reason Mr. Zaknoon brought that up tonight is to what's the term? The political term. We're not hiding anything. It's just out there for everybody. Everybody sees. But this is operational business.
Yeah. And to acknowledge that we did have a number of slip holders that came to a board meeting and shared with the board their concern for the behavior of a certain slip holder.
So
I have a question. First of all, I agree with your recommendation. That's a staff responsibility. It's always been a staff responsibility. It's good for the harbor master, however, to know that the board understands his problem and gives him the latitude he needs to deal with it. My question is, what kind of conversation has passed between the slip holder in question and the harbor master and the board? Does this slip holder know that there are a lot of complaints on his behalf? And does he know that there's a consequence for that?
Oh, I think so. The police were there twice, I believe. And a number of the fellow slip holders at the time and during the event voiced their displeasure with the behavior. So he clearly is on notice that there is a problem.
If the problem is not resolved to the harbor master's to what he thinks we ought to have as a conclusion, is then the next action for us to take is not to renew that license for the slip holder next year?
That is certainly one option available, and it is probably the better option. And the reason I say that is in my civil practice, I've done a number of landlord-tenant cases. And you may not be surprised to learn that when a tenant gets an eviction notice, they set about trashing the place and often behaving juvenilely. And what we want to avoid is an instance where a slip holder, any slip holder, who is either going to be terminated or not renewed, begins to act in a juvenile manner. In other words, and we've heard reports of this happening at other harbors where they drive their boat around doing that which got them terminated or non-renewed in the first place, just to pay back those people that they feel were wrong by turning in their juvenile conduct, or they may do something to damage Port Authority property, and so the view, it seems to me, of not doing anything at this point, but perhaps doing something in the very near future is probably the better course. That way, we don't have a slip holder who decides he's going to take out his revenge on Port Authority property or on his fellow slip holders. Doesn't cause more problems. We're 5 weeks away from the official end of the season, but it seems to me every week fewer and fewer people are going to be here, and the slip holder at issue may be gone in a couple of weeks anyway.
Well, one more comment or question is that we're right now open in the office to taking reservations for next year. If it works out that the harbor master decides that we should not offer a license to that slip holder next year, we need to know that soon.
Yes, we're aware of that,
Right.
Mr. Johns. Seriously,
Okay, thanks, Joe.
yeah. And a decision, just give me a second, Bruce. A decision definitely, I'm not asking, this is the board meeting, I'm not asking the harbor master to talk on this issue tonight. As I say, this is an operation, he can if he wishes, but the decision, as far as I know, as far as the three of us know, has not been made. It's being held off. Tim, if you have any further comments to make on this.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Anybody else? Bruce, excuse me.
I'm curious as to what the police were doing involved in this. This is an internal matter to our business that we run here. Does anyone know who called the police?
Yeah, the other slip holders on the 200.
The other slip holders called the police. Okay, thank you.
I would venture probably to get them to turn the music down.
This is a serious matter, and we're taking it seriously. Danny?
Just a comment, and I don't need any kind of response to it. It sounds like our policy, which we have in place, is different if it's the first 5 weeks of the season or the last 5. That's all.
And your point?
Pardon me?
And your
I
point?
think our policy that's in place doesn't say, if it happens this time of the season, this time of the season, this time. If it happens, this is what happens. This is the reason.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's all.
Anybody else? Mr. Zacton, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. On a lighter note, I noticed in the paper it might be a slightly misspelling or different spelling of your last name, but did you have a daughter or a niece that was the homecoming queen?
A cousin's daughter.
Cousin's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe
congratulations for her.
Last year was Zach Noon as well, wasn't
2
it?
years ago.
Oh,
2 or 3 years
ago.
ago, I think that was
Okay.
Emma.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice
It's
that.
been
Well,
2.
congratulations for the family.
Thank you.
Hearing nothing else, move on to any new business to come before the board. Any new business? Any old business to come before the board other than our updates on ESD and 200 dock redecking? There are no guests for guest recognition. Take motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
You got it.
26.
All right. Thank you all.